Hey y'all, what's up? I decided that it would be a good idea to start learning how to fix cameras, how to take them apart, how to put them back together, just in case something funky happens on set and I need to fix up a camera or two. And I figured, what better way than by buying shitty cameras that don't work off of eBay and seeing if I can make them work. But to make that happen, I had to get something very special. And I'm going to share it with you guys right now. Apparently, I can't open packages. Nice. We have an Ifixit Pro toolkit for smartphone, computer, and tablet repair. And it comes with a lifetime warranty, I believe. Let me double check. I'm not too sure. I'll tell you what it does come with. It comes with an anti-static wrist wrap, suction handle, 3 opening tools, 6 opening picks, nylon tip reverse tweezers, blunt and angled tweezers, standard spudger, halberd spudger, metal spudger, jimmy, magnetic pad, and a compact tool roll. And it's 64-bit driver kit. For Phillips, we have 000, 00, 0, 1, and 2. For flatheads, we have a 1, a 1.5, a 2, a 2.5, a 3, and a 4mm. These are all very convenient sizes for fixing small things. Torx, we have T2, T3, T4, and T5. For Torx security, we have TR6, TR7, TR8, TR9, TR10, TR15, TR20, and TR25. For pentalobes, we've got P2, P5, and P6. For JIS, we have J000, J00, J0, and J1. For our hexes, we have 0.7, 0.9, 1.3, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, and 5mm. For our tri-points, we have Y000, Y00, Y0, and Y1. For our square bits, we've got 1 and 2. And for our game bits, we have 3.8, 4.5. Spanners have 6 and 8. Triangle, 2 and 3. We have a standoff bit for iPhone, an oval drive, a magnetic pickup bit, a SIM eject bit, a 1/4 inch to 4mm driver adapter, a 150mm flex extension, magnetized driver handle, and I don't know why this is listed, but it says lid with storing tray. It says down here we got it for drone cameras, phone tablets, toys, consoles, laptop, desktop, and smart home. Well, a toolkit you could use on your smart home. So let's open this up. Here's the front of the box. Looks snazzy. Comes in this pretty dark case you could probably reuse. If you have a 35 or 50mm camera and you're still using film, this is a great box for storing light sensitive data in. Pretty sure if I put the phone in here it would turn completely dark. Right away we see the little suction cup here. Held in by these 2 little straps. Test that out later. Can't wait to use these. Got a nice little pocket for the anti-static cable. And it looks pretty secure on there. Doesn't look like it's going to fall off anytime soon. It's crimped. It looks like it might fall off eventually because a lot of the times crimping just does not hold on forever. Strap feels kind of stiff, but I'm sure it's going to get better with use. I like the way it says Ifixit here, and I like the way that this just flops up and down. That's easy one-hand use for me. That is not so easy to pull through with one hand. Oh, there we go. It's got to be in a certain position, feels like. Hopefully that'll also get easier with use. There's a nice little metal piece on the inside, and the little part attaches here. It's all nice and secure. Doesn't just fall off, but you could still take it off if you needed to. Tuck it back into its pocket. Let's see how well it goes back in. If I could figure this out. Okay, so that wasn't too bad putting back in with only one hand. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. A 3 out of 5. It wasn't easy, it wasn't hard. It was just whatever. Now let's see, this flap here. Oh, I like this flap. Let's see if it keeps stuff from falling out. Definitely helps. See, these are loose in here, so you don't have to work that hard to pull them out, but they're not so loose that they're just flinging around everywhere. This one, however, is nice and tight. A little separator knife here. This nice, really rubbery grip. The best way I could describe it is there's those little things that cover to like a house key. It also has that same rubbery feel that you get on flashlights. Kind of grippy. Has a little bit of friction when you rub your fingers against it, so it doesn't feel like it'll slip out of my hand. So, tweezers. Oh, I like that design. You squeeze them to get them open instead of squeezing them to close them, which I actually like because squeezing them to keep them closed is such a pain in the butt, and not to mention it hurts your fingers. It's just such an inconvenience, and this is a much better alternative. You can see how narrow those tips are, which will be very, very convenient for picking out small parts. Yeah, it looks like you could replace the tips if they get too worn down, so that's a plus. Let's just go with these because I grabbed them next by accident. These things, what does the box say they're called again? Opening picks. I was going to say they remind me of guitar picks. They got the little X on them. Well, X/screwdriver head, I guess. I'll put them back in there. They also have the nice little flap design. This, however, is proven to be quite a pain because I cannot hold open this flap and put my picks back in place at the same time. And plus they're spinning around in my hand as I'm trying to put them back. So that is not making me a happy camper right now. I can't get them back inside where they belong. Let me try doing one at a time. Oh, that's still a pain. You see this Ifixit? I'm having trouble doing this with one hand. We need a redesign. There we go. I got one in. I want to be able to get them all in at once. I feel like I'd be able to do it if this stupid flap wasn't in my way. Oh, come on. Fail. See my struggle? Okay, this is in the way too. Oh, come on. I guess you get 6 of them in case they break because obviously not going to be made to last forever. They obviously weren't made to be put back into their place with one hand either. Okay, on to the next tool, right? So we got these little tips on the ends of these tweezers here. Those are extremely fine. Again, useful for very small parts, which is going to happen when you're repairing computers and phones and laptops, cameras. What else did the computer say? Oh yeah, and your smart home. I'm not sure exactly what part of the house your smart home is going to need in terms of this tool, but hey, the more options you have for fixing your smart home, the better. I'm guessing. I wouldn't know because, well, I don't have a smart home. I have a regular home, a dumb home. These are very nice. These look like they can grab screws easily. I happen to have a test screw right here. I know it's kind of big, but work with it. I wonder if these are magnetic. Nope, I don't feel like it. I don't think these tweezers are magnetic tip, which is fine. They don't need to be magnetic tip. Not everything needs to be magnetic, especially when you're planning to have tools close to a hard drive. In the old days, a magnet would be the end of your floppy drive. That's why I tend to stay away from magnets because I'm old. So yeah, this picks up a screw really nicely. Definitely bonus points. Almost makes up for this little faux pas right here. Ooh. I believe these are more spudgers. Okay, here's the first spudger out of the thing. They both say repair is noble on the shaft with the Ifixit. And they even say spudger on it. Like the way the tips are shaped. Looks like they covered a lot of bases. And here's the metal spudger that frankly looks like something out of a hospital. Or an artist toolkit, which is fitting for this channel. I promise not to use my metal spudger for mixing paint. Now, on to the fun part. This seriously fun part. The magnetic box. This is so freaking cool. I cannot believe how cool that is. This is just a big magnet plate. It's one of those flexible rubbery magnets. But it's heavy and it's thick. It's kind of bubbly. I'm not sure why I didn't put something stronger and then just let this kind of be inside of the material. Kind of like how you have your magnet right here on the inside of your iPad. I don't know why they didn't incorporate something like that. I mean, maybe it's just me because I'm one-handed and I'm always thinking that way, but something like this is pretty much an inconvenience for somebody like me. Anything could fall out like this that I have to struggle to put back in because look at this edge. That's not very much. I mean, this could have been more lippy, any way to describe it. I would have put in a little flap in here just to catch that magnet on the inside. And on that note too, these little things here are falling out. It's not too tight. So there's some ups and downs to this thing. This is kind of hard to get back in. These guys don't want to stay inside. This guy's perfect. This is too close to here. I mean, I could always move them around. Well, no, I can't. They're obviously sized a certain way. Definitely looking like it's got to fit there. It's so close that my hands just get stuck on it. And that was just a pain in the butt. And then I have to pull back this part to get to it. So if you're designing anything, doesn't matter what it is, you need to think about how people are going to be able to do it with one hand. Not just because there's people out there with one hand like me, but also because there's people out there that are going to be, for one reason or another, they're going to be using one hand while they use your product. Now, most of the time it's probably going to be because they're on the phone or they're holding something else, like, you know, like a cup of coffee or whatever. So that right there is a reason for you to think about making your product easy to use with one hand, because people are multitaskers. So if they're looking up a schematic and they're kind of want to go over here and pull out some tools, they're not going to want to have to take their hand off their cell phone or their keyboard. They have to come over here and hold this son of a bitch down while they're getting in there, or while they're putting away a pick, or whatever. It's just one less thing to worry about. I get that this is trying to, you know, cover this up, but I can see this coming apart, how it's coming up. It's not coming unstitched, but you could already predict that that right there is where it's going to fall apart. This hardy vinyl material that's stitched and woven is the same material that my old CD cases were made out of back in the day, and this part always came unstitched. The part where it bent always came unstitched and frayed. I could just see this going even faster because of that. I don't think that their specialty is making the case itself for your tools. With that in mind, I will probably be looking for something like this, but in leather, because leather is just gonna last so much longer. Who knows? On to this awesome little toolbox. The toolbox lid itself seems to be magnetized. That's not bad. Uh-oh. Well, look at that. It's stuck. Okay, I could already see that being somewhat of a nuisance. Is it so much of a nuisance that I would send it back? No, not really. I mean, I could see the convenience of having these be magnets, but I also feel like if this was hinged with metal, it might be slightly better. My magnet is coming out already. It's sliding right out. Okay, so... oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a minor inconvenience. I can't give a good grade to the case. The case is, for a lack of better terminology, crap. There are some parts about this case that I like, but this magnet part is really bringing me down. I kind of like the way that these all flip up and down, little fidget spinner style. Toolkit here. See, the lid's driving me crazy. It's over here, it's sliding around. I keep hitting it with my hand. When it's off camera, that's annoying. That having this in a separate piece. What if it gets lost? I always lose lids. I have a couple of children. I don't know if you've ever heard the phrase, but it's 100% true. Kids run off with lids. If you have any kids, they cannot be trusted with these things. They will run off with them. They'll break them. And I predict that's exactly what's going to happen because it's not attached to the rest of the toolbox. Well, you can see here that they did a pretty good job at cutting the tools, making sure that there were no little blemishes or little spots within the tool itself. Unlike some tools that you get, especially the cheap ones, these look really flush and flat on the inside where they're supposed to be flat. They look round in the parts where they're supposed to be round. There's no like little beading around the edges where you know they're supposed to be seams, which is a bonus. Some of these fit into each other, which I'm obviously being distracted by right now. This one's got a little magnet in it, as you can see. Pretty powerful for its size. Definitely for grabbing screws. That is so large. I like this little handle here. The tip here, it's got a nice color, but it also spins. It looks like it's made from aluminum. Not really glossy, but it's definitely got the same kind of finishing as the rest of the handle. It's really made nicely. I would prefer if it had a rubber grip, just because I like the feel of rubber under my fingers more than I like the feel of metal. But it looks like you're just going to be able to go like hold it in your hand and keep twisting, which is pretty good. Lets you have a nice grip on your screwdriver. And as you can see, just put these in here. These are magnetic, which I'm guessing allows them to have the adapter bits work without the little metal bead that always gets lost out of your other screwdriver tips. And here we have the extender. It's got little bits in here you could twist just to help you give you extra torque. And it's too big for the camera. There you go. And then like from here you can add any of your attachments. I'll go with this one because it looks like a tiny taser. Zzz, zzz. This one's pretty curious. Star. I like the way it's shaped. Oh my goodness, that was unexpected. So when I turned this upside down, it fell right out, which I honestly was not expecting. Okay, so I finally figured it out. Well, it just turns out I didn't click enough. So you really gotta get it in there, and once it's in, oh my goodness, is it difficult to get out with one hand. Can't believe I'm about to do this. Nope. That's not working. There we go. Getting on these little bits right here like this with one hand, kind of difficult, kind of hurts. The table seems to work. And once you have all this together, you're able to bend and twist. But this here not being able to get it out is not my idea of a good time. So I guess I was doing this wrong too. I just didn't push it in enough. Once it's in there, it's really snug and it's hard to get out with one hand. I just use my teeth. I'd rather not have to use my teeth every time I change a bit. I have to think of something else. Maybe some sort of rubber grip, you guys. Dropping hints here. Ifixit. So I'm curious to see how this performs in general. I'm going to see how easy it is to take apart this little cheap camera. Well, I already got a few screws out of here. So let's just see. That looks like it fits that perfectly. So we'll use the 000s. Tips aren't quite magnetized enough to make a huge difference, but I think rubbing them up against the magnet will help. Yep, that works. So I'm just going to take these screws and see about putting them back into this camera. Okay, that one's too long. That one's too long for this spot. Wow, that does spin extraordinarily fast. Go. That is too long. Try the short one. There we go. In there nicely. This screw has got to go on the inside. It's the only thing I could think of. This is a screw that should have been on the inside and I put it back in wrong. I don't think that one's gonna fit in the last hole. Oh well. I will just have to take this whole thing apart and figure out which screw it goes in. But as you can see, it does a pretty decent job at taking care of these small screws, which is exactly why I bought this toolkit. If you're thinking about getting it, just might want to consider some of the things that I've pointed out. Well, let's start with the pros, the things that I liked about it. It does come with a lot of bits. Even if you don't think you're going to use these all, I guarantee sometime down the line, you're going to have these parts here that are oddballed enough that somebody that says, oh, I can't fix my device because I don't have the right bits for it. More than likely, you're going to be able to rescue them with this. Especially if it's a phone or a camera. After using this handle, it seems like it's a pretty good way to get your screws out fast. At least for me it was. Can't really use my other arm to add extra torque. And doing this method here where I twist the handlebar really fast, it's crooked. It isn't as straight as if you were using two hands, so the screws kind of bend and they don't always go in straight. So this right here, for me, just being able to do this is great because I could keep it steady, I could keep it in one place, and I could add the extra pressure that I need to get what I need done. Not a lot of people raved about this, and I could see why. If you were able to flex it and make it bend more, I could see how, you know, it'd be more useful. It's magnetized, you can twist it at the top, it's got both twists down here. A lot of people didn't like them. I'm not sure if I like it yet, so I'm gonna say it's neutral. As far as pros versus cons, you could tell by looking into the bits, the die wasn't sloppily done. Some toolkits, when you look at the metal on the inside, you'll see that it's been cast, and you can see where they cast the bits, and none of these seem to have that annoying little cast bead that some tools get when they drop the molten metal into the mold. I appreciate that everything is so smooth and flush, because when you're working with small items, tiny screws, you want your toolkit to be able to fit into there without it scratching the edges, without it adding any extra friction that it's already going to have by you putting it in there. So I like the fact that they're so precise. Well, to my eye, they look precisely cut. I'm not really too appreciative of these here. I definitely put them to good use, but I went ahead and bought Ifixit's anti-static case because it was just going to be bigger. I don't think that in a big job, say for taking apart two of these cameras and salvaging what parts I can to make a new camera, I don't think it would do anything extraordinary to enhance my workflow and to make the job faster, other than just providing some arbitrary space. But these ridges here could be a little bit taller and I would be a lot more happy with it. But as it stands, larger screws are definitely gonna not stay in there. I could just see that being an issue. If I'm gonna move it, things are not gonna stay in place. For me, if there's going to be a tray, it's got to be somewhat movement proof. Like, obviously, if I drop it off the table, like, everything's going to spill everywhere. If this whole thing was a magnet and my screws just stood there, fuck yeah, I'd be happy. But I guess you could do that if you wanted. But then you won't have this little lid here. And they also designed it so the lid can just be underneath your tools here. If your lid's underneath your tools, then you can't really get to it for your screws. If I had screws in there and they were organized, they would have just been all scattered about and unorganized just now. And for this part here, I would say make this border here, make it thicker in terms of, you know, width, so this magnet isn't so ready to come out and get stuck on the edges. Put like a little lip right here for getting around and coming underneath the magnet, and that'll keep it from slipping out like a pillow. Some guy said that he couldn't figure out how to close the case all the way after this was open, but I don't get where he's coming from, because I mean, I was able to do mine just fine. I was doing pros, wasn't I? I like the handle here. Somebody said this doesn't feel too sturdy. It doesn't feel too sturdy in my hand, but I think having it flex might give it a little bit of an advantage if you're going up against something that you don't want to just ricochet out and just blah everywhere. This little flex here might give you a slight bit of advantage. I like the quality of this spudger here, spudger thingy. I like the quality of these plastic spudgers, and I like the way that they're shaped, definitely, for sure. This here seems a little flimsy, and I don't know if I appreciate that so much. This guy here is very sharp. Could probably use it as a fishing hook, not that I would, but I like how sturdy the plastic is, and I like how they're numbered here, so you could tell. There's a number 4, and this one over here is a number 2. I just don't like how flimsy this is. I feel like I could break it. I feel like my kids would destroy it in 5 minutes if they got a hold of it and put it in their mouth. I love these tweezers. Like, oh my god. I know they're not the most highest quality, bestest tweezers ever. Like, if you went to a data recovery center, I'm pretty sure their tweezers would be, like, way nicer. But considering what these are for and who they're marketed for, these are pretty nice tweezers. tweezers, and I'm crazy for them. I love how they have the painting up here, these black ones here. I love how they left the paint off the tips, because if the tips were painted, then the paint would slowly chip off the metal, and then you would get little metallic paint chips in your stuff as you were cleaning over time. But they didn't. They left it bare, which is good. I like that. And I like how fine they are at the tip. So far, I like how well they grip. Even gripping this little tiny screw here. I'll prove me wrong. Trying to do that with my other tweezers was impossible. Needling those pliers, impossible. Even with tiny pliers, it was still impossible. And these are my former tweezers. These are such a huge... Oh my god, I have hiccups. So these are such a huge upgrade. I can't get over how much I love them, even though I just got these. And these little reverse tweezer things, I love because with these guys you have to squeeze them, which is fine. I mean, you wouldn't want to use something like this on a chip or a board or anything that you don't want getting scratched or crushed. So it's got its purposes, don't get me wrong. But the other ones also have, the ability for you to choose how much pressure you're applying. So they all have their uses. They're all good. As far as the picks go, see, that just drives me crazy. I don't like that. I don't know. Maybe they're secured a different way. It'd be a little bit better. I mean, you have little sleeves and sheaths for these guys. I don't know why you couldn't have just done that for these little guys. Just created something like this, like a little pocket that you just slide them in. It's driving me nuts with one hand, and the fact that they don't stay together because they're so slick just adds to the frustration when I try to put them back in. With this thing here is it's always in the way. The good thing is when you turn it upside down, these tools don't fall out, but I feel like that could have been just an easy fix. This is pretty snug. These guys aren't so snug, but I think after this wears down, it's going to fail and they're gonna not have anything to hold them back. So I guess don't hang them upside down is the solution. The cable here is not extraordinary, but it's not low quality either. It didn't break in my hands when I stretched it. It feels like this part will last a while. I can't really make any judgment calls about the little cable though, because it's my first time since high school using one of these. This part here, it's that weird plastic that once it's shaped, it doesn't want to unshape, and that's throwing me off. Obviously if I'm working, I want to be able to move freely, so this would need to be a little bit more supple in terms of it moving. Like right here feels alright. It's still kind of stiff. That's just the overall feel I'm getting from this. It's pliable. I mean, obviously you can see it's pliable, but it feels stiff at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. I mean, other than that, I really don't have anything to say about it yet. I would have to test it by grounding myself and purposely giving myself static electricity to see if it will work. This thing here, I know a lot of people use these to lift things from their, like a screen, or they use it to pry a particular part that's been glued down. They're supposed to create a lot of suction. So I'm just going to test the suction on my camera here. Wow. Oh, wow. So that's a good suction. I have confidence that if I ever need this to pry something, that it will probably do its job. It is only in one size. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. These little guys here, this tool is designed to break before your device does. So it's designed not to break your device. I'm not sure how much pressure you would have to apply for that to happen, because just doing this, it feels pretty sturdy. And if I were to push it up against the edge of the desk here, it doesn't look like it's going anywhere. I think it would break in the middle, but I'm not sure. There's a little recycling symbol here to indicate that if it does break, you can recycle them. So if they do break, there's no reason to throw them away. And of course it comes with 3, so if one does break, then you are set. I can't think of any cons for these other than maybe they can come in different sizes. But I think the spudgers and the separators are kind of going to cover you for that one. They would be kind of extra cool if they were a smaller size on one end and a bigger size on the other end. So all in all, I think it's a good purchase. I'm glad I bought it because the bits that I had before, while they were nice, this was a nice cheap toolkit that I got from Harbor Freight. It was only $8, but it's not complete. It obviously doesn't have double zeros. Definitely not enough spudge, not enough flatheads, just not enough sizes. It's good for doing menial work. I used it to take apart this camera the first time, but it was quite a challenge because the bits were just not the proper size for the screws that I had, so I had to be very delicate not to strip them, and because they were just too big. So I had to go get this guy here. I did not want to trying to save money by buying cheap toolkits and not getting what I needed. So I went ahead and dished out the extra money to get something that other people are using, that other people are saying is a good product, and that they have reviewed on camera, just like I did right now. Probably a little bit better than me, but hey, it's literally one of my first reviews, so cut me a break. But this here, I think in terms of value, for just doing one thing, it might be a little excessive. But if you're gonna do cameras and computers and mess with your cell phone and try to put together old electronic parts from, you know, junkyard sales or whatever, then yeah, it's worth it, because you're gonna run across bits and little screws that you have no idea how you're gonna get them out. It's not a little toolkit like this. Here's another little toolkit I buy. Can you tell I'm always buying toolkits? See, even something like this that I got is for my ratchet. Here for my ratchet wrench, which I mean is not practical for something small like a computer, but it's practical for something big like my wheelchair, which is why I have this. But those did not have what I needed, and this little tiny guy right here almost had what I needed, but if he did, I probably wouldn't have gotten the Ifixit kit. I probably would have just bought spudgers and an anti-static wristband and not bothered with anything else. But since it came with the extras, I figured why the heck not, considering the other toolkit that I was looking at did not look like it was going to have what I needed, so I got this instead. I'm pretty glad I got it. I can't wait to use it to fix this camera, so until that day comes. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my thorough review and demonstration of the Ifixit Pro Toolkit. Hopefully I gave you some knowledge on the subject matter. Keep an eye out for more videos. We're gonna be doing some camera repairs. I have another box here to open. It's got a Canon from way back when, and I hope to unbox it with another Canon that I plan on cannibalizing and fixing. So that's kind of going to be my side gig here, just, you know, for extra views, extra fun, extra click, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to take that skill that I learned taking apart old cameras and use them to hopefully keep my new cameras, when they come along, up and running, keep them free from defects simply through being able to maintain them, take them apart, and replace whatever parts that need replacing. Other than that, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks for watching. I know it's a super long video, but I wanted to just get my thoughts out there and go over this as thoroughly as possible, and hopefully, you know, get some extra subs along the way. See what I did there? So like and subscribe if you want to. If you don't, that's fine. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. If you did, give it a thumbs up. But either way, leave a comment down below and tell me why you didn't like it, and tell me why you did like it if you liked it. And I'll catch you guys next time.